it is amazing to be a parent right now. There are so many innovations happening with parents, for babies, everything related to parenting. I'm a mom of 3 myself, and my youngest is 4 years old, and I only wish that some of these innovations were available when my kids were newborns. So just a little bit about me. Jill gave a bit of a background. I've been in the tech industry for about 20 years, and I have been writing about technology. I have been involved in public relations for technology, and I was just so impressed and amazed by how technology and parenting intersected, and that's really what delved me into this topic. So I would love for each of our panelists to take a moment to talk about who they are and what it is that they do, and then we're just going to have a really fantastic discussion about how each of these people are contributing to the Connected Nursery and what their visions are for the future. So let's kick it off.
Thank you. Hi, I'm DULCIE MADDEN. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Rest Devices and Mimo. And what we do is we have a wearable sleep monitor that babies can wear that can capture real-time sleep data. We launched that product a few years ago, and it streams real-time sleep information to a parent's phone. What we found was that parents were saying, this is great, data is great. What I want are actual recommendations and insights for how to solve my baby's sleep, right? That's the age-old question of, my baby's not sleeping, I'm exhausted. So we started on about 1.5 years ago in collaboration with Johnson & Johnson as a product called Nod, which is an AI-driven coaching platform for parents. And so what we're able to do is use a huge database of infant sleep data, work in partnership with the top pediatric sleep clinicians in the United States, and use a bunch of neural nets and evolutionary algorithms to look at a parent, look at a family, and say, this is the kind of dad you are, these are your preferences, this is where your baby's sleep and development is, these are the problems that you're trying to solve for, and every day, based on how your patterns are evolving, we give you a new recommendation to actually solve for that sleep problem. We launched about 2 months ago. We've been able to get babies more than 2 hours of sleep per night after 1 week of use, which is fantastic. Or we can reduce their nighttime wakings by 2 to 3 times per night as well. We've been thrilled. We're using about 40 countries, and then we're looking at expanding into lactation as well.
Oh, you've got your lavalier.
Hello, I'm SIVA, co-founder and CEO of Cocoon Cam. What we do is we have a camera that's able to sense a baby's respiration in real time without any wearables or any devices attached to the baby or underneath the mattress. So it's completely computer vision based, and there's an AI engine behind there that's analyzing the baby's respiration, and now is able to also give you sleep analysis data, just like Mimo here. What we are trying to do is fit in with your child, with you, without you changing your behavior. So you do your thing, and we try to be non-invasive, and the whole problem of trying to worry about other devices being on your child, we want to take that away and actually give you peace of mind. And better? Okay. Great.
Hi, everybody. My name is GEISE, and I'm president of VOXX Accessories Corporation, as well as the head of Project Nursery Electronics, in partnership with the 2 founders of Project Nursery, who are seated in the right there waving. And they did a great thing about 8 or 9 years ago, putting together an amazing blog that started off really taking a look at the design of the nursery, and that has evolved so much into really looking at helping parents as children are growing up. And what we did a couple of years ago in terms of electronics was really looking at the space of monitors, sound soothers, and saying, how can we make these better? As a father of 5, I've tested about every single product known to man for the last 16 years for my kids, so I know what was wrong with products, and it was taking a look at simplicity. And I think that's one of the common things you're going to see across these companies as I've looked at everyone on this panel's products, and we have taken a look at things a little bit differently. than some of the bigger companies that have continued to pump out products that, quite frankly, are not making it easier on moms and dads. And I think that's what you'll see today. We're making a big announcement of launching the first Alexa-based baby monitor system here at the show, which I'll show you a little bit later. But the ability, what we took a look from the Alexa side of using voice integration was not just about being able to do different tasks just for the sake of doing them. It was what's going to make a parent's life easier. For example, all of us have probably done the army crawl into our child's room to switch on a sound soother or some music or do something without disturbing the baby, yet the baby smells you, hears you, etc., no matter how stealth you think you are, and you can't pull it off, and next thing you know, you're picking up baby and walking around the house, and everybody's in a world of hurt. So with Alexa, what we're looking at is the standpoint of being somewhere else in the home, and those different types of moments happen, and you can be able to say, hey Alexa, turn on the lullabies in the nursery. Hey Alexa, what's the temperature in the nursery? Hey Alexa, when did the baby last move in the nursery? Those different things can all be data that's brought back. And I think, as Dulcie said, it's the important data that really matters. I think as I've seen some different products that have come out, the one thing that seems to be terrifying parents, and it would terrify me, is having the equivalent of what looks like a hospital room monitor, of knowing every single thing that a baby, pulse, oximeter, all these different things. That's kind of crazy, because I think all of us have made it through to this point without those different things, and I think it's really about practicality and something that's sensible and can truly, truly make lives easier. So, thank you.
Hi there, my name is Ann Crady-Weiss, and I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Hatch Baby. At Hatch Baby, we produce products that help make parents' lives a little easier, as we all do up here. But the foundation of what we do, so I come from a company called Baby Center. I used to run everything consumer at a company called Baby Center. The fundamental background that our company brings is we really put the parent first. Technology is nice, but no one goes to the store and says, I want some really cool tech for my baby. They go to the store and they say, I'd like something that is beautiful, that's affordable, that's actually functional and makes my life easier. And that's really the focus of the products that we make. Also on the experience side, given that we are mobile developers first and really learn the product side, we place a lot of importance on the usability of our products and also of our mobile experiences. So we are taking our Baby Center experience, and we have been in beta and are launching an experience to basically walk parents through the things that concern them. So breastfeeding, sleep, relationships, self-care, things that parents are really concerned about and feel very isolated about. And so it's much less in that product experience about the tech, and it's more about supporting the individual human. We know as parents, the reality is babies have been born for a long time, and they generally speaking develop the same way, but the reality is it's very different when you are the parent. Your baby, especially your first, feels like a totally new experience, and you want personalized, individualized advice for your baby and for yourself. And that's really the focus of our company, is treating parents like individuals. Tech is a nice complement, but ultimately first comes the parent and the baby and their individual experiences.
Great, thank you for those introductions. And I have a few questions, but I wanted to touch on something that you mentioned, Ian. First of all, father of 5. Good for you. I thought my hands were full with 3 kids. That's amazing. But something you were saying about data and trying to figure out what is going to matter most to parents. And that's the thing. It's with all of these different connected products, all of these gadgets that we're either monitoring on our phones, on our computers. What is your advice for new parents who want to embrace the technology but are also intimidated by all of the information that's being pushed at them? I mean, having a new baby, if it's your first, it's very intimidating. There's so much to be worried about when you have all of this information coming at you. What is your advice for how to not get too mired in all of the details? I would love to hear your feedback.
Yeah. So I'll jump in really quick, but I think the biggest thing as a new parent is to do whatever is going to help build your trust and build your instinct, similar to what Ian and Ann were saying. So there's a lot that can be really overwhelming, and as a parent, and I think especially as a mom, you need to be able to know when to put the blinders on and focus on your experience and what's going to be helpful, and then think about what is the purpose of the data, right? And Ian will talk more about this, but data can be really, really overwhelming, and thinking about, can this actually help me solve a problem? Will this get me more sleep? Will this help my baby weigh more? Will this help my family feel better together tomorrow? And I think knowing how that feels to you is really, really important in building that instinct.
I also think that one of the biggest tools that parents have today that I think is an advantage over is the entire social network. Having that complete system, that support system of all of your friends that maybe wasn't as easy as picking up the phone before, but you're seeing so many different, and not that I would necessarily listen to celebrity advice, but you do have celebrities out there, tweeting and saying, hey, I just had a baby. This was Serena Williams did this a couple months ago. Hey, I just had a baby and this is what I'm feeling, or this is what's going on. Give me some feedback. And you had hundreds of thousands or millions of people that reach out to that. And so going on a small scale, it's what are those different, what are my friends telling me? What are those experiences? Because, to your point, Dulcie, I think it's the personality of the mom and the dad of what they want to take in terms of data. And I think that's where a little bit of difficulty comes in, because, we as companies that are developing product, we're driven by our buyers at retail. Hey, bring us more and more technology. And it tends to be more for the sake of technology than it does truly for what is going to be best for mom and dad and family. So I think it's striking a balance, and it's making sure that we're responsible developers. And then in terms of the communication, from parents and how they're going to feel comfortable, I think they know what their comfort level is of what they want to dig into, and where they'll see from an information standpoint. If they're a little skittish on the first baby, they're probably not going to ask for as much data or dig into so many things where they're literally watching baby 24 hours a day.
Yes, again, I agree with everything you said. In the terms of providing all the data that we have, boiling it down and what is needed right now is what's important. If you give them everything over the last year, what's the point? As millennials, they want instant gratification. So that's what we strive to do, which is, provide them the information that they need now, but then as you need it, you can go in the app and start digging down and, dig deep. So, it's what's now.
Do you want to keep going?
So to your point on millennials, I thought it'd be worth throwing out some interesting statistics about who today's parent is. 82% of children born each year are born to millennial mothers. That's 5 out of every 6 babies. Millennials, who we define as those ages 18 to 34, have surpassed baby boomers as the nation's largest living generation. 74% of millennial moms report having an average of 24 close friends they rely on for recommendations. So that nods to the whole social aspect. And millennial parents today boast an estimated $2.4 trillion in buying power. That's pretty astounding, and a demographic that you're primarily targeting. So I wanted to get back into information and data, and inevitably we have to talk about safety and how that plays into each of your products. So I would love to hear from each of you on how you view safety and how you address it with each of the products you provide for parents. And that's safety both in terms of information and also there are questions that I get frequently about how safe is it to have a Bluetooth device near a baby, things like that. So however you view safety, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. So with what we're doing with NOD, what we found is that the biggest thing is information that you can trust as a parent. Because you can look up literally anything on the internet and have the internet tell you anything, right? So you have no idea what's validated, what you can trust. We felt it was really important to work with highly trained clinical sleep specialists to be able to say this is 15 years of research that's been validated through peer-reviewed journals that we've been looking at. So we're able to say this is actually tested, validated information about how to develop your baby's sleep. And that's critical because the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're safe and that you're developing trust with the parent. And then the parent is learning to trust themselves. I think on the devices side, safety is paramount when you think about Wi-Fi, when you think about Bluetooth Low Energy. There's a lot of work that's being done, and I think that the onus, like Ian said, is on developers of new technology to make sure they're doing literally everything possible to be as safe as possible, to make sure that you're using low-power devices, that you're trying to create a really safe environment for a baby. So I think that's paramount.
In terms of safety, Cocoon Cam is that. So when I had my daughter, we went and bought all the baby monitors out there. But then we realized that, like I'm an engineer, I cannot just shine RF and all of this stuff on my baby to know she's okay. So that's where we developed computer vision technology. It's very passive, so there's nothing emitted other than infrared to see at night, and that's just heat. So for us, we value safety of the product and trust that when you use the product, it works and it gives you the information that you need without interfering in your life. So our technology is mainly for that, to give you the safety that you need for babies.
Yeah, first thing I think that everybody probably knows in this room is don't Google symptoms. If you want to get any sleep and be able to feel good about yourself or your baby. But in terms of technology, when you look at Wi-Fi and you look at Bluetooth, there's been actually a tremendous amount of studies. It's non-ionizing, type of technology. You may have a little bit of heat off of Wi-Fi, but it isn't something that's ionizing radiation type of technology that's really going to be damaging to children and things that we really need to look out for, from a parent's perspective.
I think what this question really brings up for me is ultimately parents are Is that us? That's not us. Not us. Parents really are concerned for the well-being of their kids. We all are, right? And that's, I think, the origin of this question. I think the reality is, as the halls around us show, like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are accepted as standards for everyone. I think, though, what your question suggests is that parents need that reassurance, and that is really why we focus exclusively on reassurance first, technology second. How can we speak to a parent and help them understand that everything we're doing is to help them and to help them feel more confident and better about their experience.
So hopefully everyone will have a chance to learn more about these products and walk these halls. You realize how much CES represents a land of tech innovation and the future of technology. All of you have achieved a great deal of success, but we also know that it probably wasn't easy at times. So I think for anybody in the audience who is developing a product or working with products that are in development, I think it would be really insightful to hear what the biggest challenges have been for each of you as you've achieved this level of success.
For us, the biggest issue was trying to build technology that was non-existent. And so how do you make sure that it works? So what we did, so initially when we started, we got a grant from the National Science Foundation to develop the technology, which allowed us to start testing in hospitals like UC San Diego, and now we are also testing at Stanford's neonatal intensive care unit. So doing all of those validations helped us make sure that our technology works before we start delivering it to consumers. And then, I mean, all of us, everyone has kids, so for us it was actually easy. We just, on our website said, hey, does anybody want to try the product and see if it works? And we started handing out cameras, and we were able to gather data, and and actually see that our technology is helping parents and they're using it, and that it's able to fit into their life without them doing extra things. So that was our focus.
So in addition to hearing about the challenges, I would also love to hear about what you think have been the critical success factors that have helped propel you and achieve this level of success as well.
So definitely the studies have helped us a lot to validate the technology, then parents telling us that this is actually useful and is going to help us. That's what really drives us, and that's what leads to success.
I think for, especially when you take a look at the massive size of this area, as well as all of CES in general, to us it was really about differentiation. There are so many different products out there, so many different baby products, but I think what you see across this panel, and when you dig into the things that these companies have brought to market, is it's about being different in terms of the execution. So for example, we came out with a sound soother for babies. We were the first ones to implement Bluetooth technology in it to be able to access everything from your smartphone, of all of your music, all of the lullabies that are there from Amazon Music Services, as well as Audible for being able for a toddler to listen to a story at night, or from the monitor system including Alexa voice services. All of those different things are being able to be differentiated versus all the commoditized products out there, and I think that's probably the biggest difficulty, is cutting through the clutter. It's very easy for buyers this day. We just had this conversation before we came up, for buyers and others alike to be caught up in various brands that are in the marketplace. But I think, again, you look at the brands that are up here, they aren't maybe the biggest of brands that exist in the marketplace, but yet people did see the differentiation that existed, what the benefit was to moms and dads, and most importantly is that moms and dads reacted. They're the ones that accepted those products and ultimately have been able to take off. But I think that's the biggest thing where I see the movement.
So for us, I'd say the biggest challenge was becoming hardware makers. So again, our backgrounds as founders were on the we had a background on the experience side. So we knew how to create apps and how to create an experience that parents love, but really learning how to create hardware products was our biggest challenge. But we use the same principles of design thinking that we use in the software world to apply to the hardware world, and then brought on experts to do hardware for us. As far as the biggest successes go, I think one of the things, I totally agree with the point about differentiation. I think it's super important, and I think smaller, more nimble companies can really do the kind of research and really spend the kind of R&D that it takes to really create those points of differentiation that make parents really love, and that lead to things like 4.5-star reviews on Amazon on our products. So differentiation is huge, and I also think learning how to launch in a way that breaks out from the noise. There is so much noise. There are so many products here. And figuring out how you can launch and how you can use influencers, how you can use social media, how you can use different tools in our tool chest to really break out in a launch, and also from a sustained perspective, how you can really break out from competitors and create something that's really unique. Because the most important thing these days is word of mouth. If your product is not excellent, people will find out about it and people will post about it. So you have to create excellent products and you have to get word of mouth. We've seen incredible things. We started with a relatively high CAC. CAC is cost per acquired user. And we started with a high CAC, a new product, but the reality is as we benefit from word of mouth and as we do influencer marketing, that CAC dramatically comes down, and that's the most wonderful thing we can see. So I'd say that's our biggest success and thing I'm most proud of.
Thank you. And I think for us, the biggest thing is figuring out how to make technology really intuitive. I think the biggest thing is that a lot of the old standby companies that have been in this space for a long time haven't invested in new technology. They certainly haven't tried to figure out how to make it really intuitive and simple and great to use as a parent. And I think being able to be small and nimble is something that's hugely important for that. It comes down to the baseline hardware that you're developing. It comes down to your app. It comes down to everything that you're doing to get the product out of the box, set up, and being used every single day. I think that we talked about this a little bit, but one of the biggest things that you can do to be successful, I think, as a company is to always listen to your customers, right? So from when you're doing your early alpha testing, your beta testing, when you're listening to reviews, when you're doing your customer support, being able to listen to every single thing that a parent says, and does this color work, does this work, does this Wi-Fi suck, anything that might sort of be across the range of experiences that you might have. Being able to constantly listen to what parents are saying has been incredibly beneficial for us because it lets you really think about future product development as well, which is critical.
That's fantastic. And something that I wanted to go back to, Anne, you mentioned social media and marketing, and you talked about cutting through the clutter in such a competitive landscape. What has been the most effective in terms of marketing to today's parent? A recent study by CrowdTap found that 97% of millennial moms and 93% of millennial dads find social media somewhat to extremely helpful to their parenting. So in that regard, can you share some of the tactics that have been most successful when engaging with parents today?
Yeah, for us, I think it's been stories in every single way that we can share it, right? So if you're looking at influencers, if you're looking at social media, anything that you can do that connects a parent, it resonates with them in terms of their experience, and then can help leverage that word of mouth or the social networks that they have. And that's been huge for us and will continue to be a really big deal.
Exactly, the same thing. Even sharing moments that the camera captures or unique things that they see the baby doing. Everybody wants to see that. They want to be sharing with their friends and family. So that's what has helped us.
No, by far, with regard to our partnership with Project Nursery, that's really where things started. And actually, when we take a look at all the marketing of our products, that we had an existing base of over 500,000 social followers that were a part of Project Nursery that were already looking for information. And to Dulcie's point, being able to get that conversation going with regards to the product, you can't ask for a better endorsement when you're having friends, socializing on their network and being able to say, this product has been great, it's simple. All of those, the things that are captured in both reviews as well as social, you can't discount how valuable that is in terms of it used to be the case that you would want so much for whether it was retailer acceptance or whether it was articles. Those things, studies have so shown that they aren't as trustworthy. They aren't as trustworthy for consumers, and they always look at that as brand advocacy versus what's truly happening from a natural basis of who's using that product, and that's been a big thing for us.
So I think the most important thing for us in terms of marketing success is great product, and great product. Because the reality is it starts there. To have great social media, you need to have people talking about your product, and you can't control the message. The reality is if you put out great product, people will talk about that great product, and they will talk to others, and then others, and you get this tremendous word of mouth, and again, it leads to that cascading down customer acquisition cost that is every marketer's dream. So that's been the most successful thing for us, is creating great products. Listening to people when, the first version of our Hatch Baby Rest that we released, when we did our first beta of 200 people, we had a major glitch in it. Luckily, it was only 200 people. We got them back, we fixed it. But that's the sort of thing that you can do when you're nimble and when you're like the companies on this stage here. But yeah, product, and product.
Let's talk about future technologies. There's so many that are getting buzz. Artificial intelligence, obviously voice-enabled technology has been out for a while. You mentioned you're making an announcement. So I would love to hear your thoughts on what future technologies you think will impact the connected nursery.
For us, we really think that it's going to be AI, right? So being able to develop a customized product that's responsive to a parent's needs and what's actually happening with their family. And there's a ton of software development that can go into that can integrate with different hardware products, but really being able to use state-of-the-art algorithms and neural nets to be able to deliver a product that is specific to you as a mom, specific to what's actually happening with your baby, and that can deliver trustworthy information. That's critical for us.
Yes, AI is going to play a big role. Customizing the product that is customized to your baby and to you is going to play the biggest role. And then, using that to provide you suggestions so that you have the right information when you need it. Also integrating all of the data that we have and having it just like, Alexa enabled or Google Home enabled or whatever have you. Just making your product being shared with your home, not just your product as it's in whole.
Yeah, we've bet on voice via Alexa in this first round, and we do believe the voice will play a big role, primarily, and again, not just for the sake of voice technology, but saying, okay, how busy is mom and dad when that baby comes home, and you've got baby on the breast, baby being held, baby down for a nap, etc., and all those different things that are going on take that device out of the hands. A couple of years ago, it was all about the device being in the hands, but there's a great little cartoon that actually Melissa Fleur sent to me. Here you've got a mom in bed, she's breastfeeding, the phone's about 6 feet away, and she's trying to reach to it, and she just can't get to it. And but she's got her priorities set that she has her baby, and she's taking care of baby. But I think voice is going to play a huge role in the beginning, and then that evolution will happen with AI and all the other artificial intelligence.
So as technologists, we will benefit from the development of technology generally. AI certainly, there's a ton here to evidence that AI is a huge part of the future and the present. But the reality is mom and dad don't shop that way. Like, they don't care. They just want something that's easy, that's convenient, that makes sense. But certainly as technologists and as developers, we will benefit as technology progresses.
So I think we have time for one more question. We have a few minutes left, and I just wanted to, as thought leaders, hear your thoughts on what the connected nursery looks like in the future, whether it's your products placed in there, but beyond that, how does the connected nursery fit into the connected home and an overall connected lifestyle that we already have, but it's going to be even more connected. So let's close with some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think the dream is still that all of these products interface together, right? So whether or not you're using smart light bulbs, a smart speaker, whether or not you're using a smart scale, smart monitors, all of these things should be able to talk to each other so that you're not trying to integrate 8,000 different products across 8,000 different experiences. That's incredibly frustrating as a parent, because who needs another app to manage everything? So I think being able to join up the data sources, being able to integrate, being able to put that all together to create a really robust experience that's seamless for a mom and for a dad is going to continue to be the biggest goal that we all are going to have.
In terms of babies, baby monitors, if you look at the market, everyone makes a camera and then a handheld device that you view your video and whatnot. But now with Alexa Show and Google's new devices, we can make devices that integrate into them, and that provides the interface to us. And that kind of connects to your home, and all other devices connect to it, and that's the same ecosystem. Someone's building, Google and Alexa are building it, but then we all benefit from it. There you go. Yep.
I think for us it starts over the next 3 to 4 months with having our Alexa-based baby monitor system that you're able to use your smart device to do all your viewing, but being able to use voice control for the camera and getting the information from the nursery. And in a couple months, we're also going to be announcing our smart soother and sleep device that will actually be resident in the nursery, and it will have integration across all of the different products that create the ecosystem for the nursery. Going forward, again, I 100% agree with you, Ann, with regards to, I think it's going to be about what parents truly will use and want in terms of devices, and we will figure out the technology going there. But I can tell you from our standpoint, we will absolutely not just put devices in the marketplace for the sake of the technology side, because parents won't accept them. We've had a product like that. We've been very fortunate that other products have been successful, but we've launched one of those, and I've sworn we won't do it again, because it's just, parents at the end of the day, they will be the ones that will decide if a product is accepted. Doesn't matter. Every retailer, they will take products in, but guess what? They will kick you right out and put another product in its place if it's not turning. So that's really what's important to us, is having those products that truly parents will want.
So I believe the future of the connected nursery is it's very similar to the future of the connected home, right? Everything will get easier. Everything will be hands-free, voice-enabled. I think there's no question that the baby nursery will follow the rest of smart home and tech. I do think that I do think this is a winner-takes-all kind of market, though, and that there will be one brand that really brings it all together, and we'll see, who that is. But I do think that that is something that will happen in the next 5 years, that there'll be a brand that really is synonymous with helping parent, with reassuring parents and making parents feel more confident.
Well, I wanted to thank you all for coming and thank you all for your insights. I think it's clear that we are in the midst of a parenting revolution, and it's really exciting to see what's in store for parents. Thank you for your contributions to this space and for creating products that make parents' lives easier. Thank you very much.